Well, this is an interesting one. You get the little curl. There was a little girl with a little curl. And then we've got a bit of an alfalfa going on. I'm getting distinguished around the temples. Um, this is what happens when you don't look in the mirror before you go onto the international World Wide Web of the web. Good morning. So Kara's Moon. Kara's Moon Garden, perhaps. Good morning, Becky R68 and Nurse Ellen and Janet Thomas. Nice to see everybody. Now, I was out doing my walk, and it is a gloomy day. We have a gloomy day here, but that's okay. A gloomy day, and that's okay. You know me, I like a rhyme. So there we go, Nurse Ellen. Good morning from New York. Hello from Pennsylvania. Yeah. Let me kick off my flip-flops here. Yeah, rainy weather there. Yeah, it's freezing. Okay, it's freezing up in Mass. It's rainy in Pittsburgh. You're making, and actually I hear it's supposed to be kind of crappy for the whole, I guess it's the holiday weekend this weekend, the Memorial Day weekend. But you know what? We can rail at the rain all we like, but it's not going to stop it from raining. What we can better do. Good morning, Mama Pepper and Judy. What part of Ireland are you traveling to? Oh, Becky, good question. Here, let me just finish my rain thing so I don't forget. I interrupted myself. You can rail at the rain. It's not going to stop raining. You could be like one of those signs that you would buy at the Christmas tree shop, learning to dance in the rain. But you know what? Try to make the best of the rain. Try to make the best of this, knowing that somewhere, somehow, perhaps this rain is doing something good, and maybe you can do something good that you wouldn't have done if it were sunny out. Yeah, Linda Mosier saying raining at the Jersey Shore. I've heard like pretty much on the TikTok, because a lot of people from the Philly area go to the shore, down the shore, for the holiday. So the weather ain't going to work out like we want it to. Becky was asking, so I leave in just a few hours for a trip. And this is kind of an interesting trip for me. I will share with you before we dive into Destination Decluttered and all that type of stuff. There we go. Kara says she's going to get stuff done before the nor'easter. Oh, you're supposed to get a nor'easter. Ugh, no fun. So anyhow, Ireland, the old sod, the land of my people. I will share with you guys something that I have rarely done, but I'm having fun with this idea, so I'm running with it. Now, this is a trip that I did not plan. This is a trip that is happening because my husband's a musician and he plays with a number of bands, and one of the bands he's played in was invited to play over in Ireland at this festival. The funny thing is that usually I am the person, like even last week, like gets all the plans and does all the things very specific, knowing where we're going from point A to point B. I decided on this trip to have it be a mystery trip, an adventure. Here's what I know. Okay, here's what I know is we're flying from Dulles into, because we're going to drive down to DC, flying from Dulles to Dublin today and Dublin to Dulles on Monday. Between that time, those guys are going to play some music, and I believe we're going up to Northern Ireland. So they're going to be playing, I believe, near Derry, but I'm not sure. I know we're staying in a couple of different places, and I've heard little details about them, but here's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to experiment with, instead of over researching and then comparing what I thought things were going to be to where it is. How about just going along for the ride and being delighted with whatever comes up. So that'll be kind of neat for me. I've spent a couple of trips in Ireland before. Nurse Ellen, very cool. And I've gone from Dublin to Galway and Galway to Dublin and kind of done the southern route and the Wild Irish Way, or the whatever it's called. So this will be an adventure for me geographically. And so, yeah, I will have more stories when I come back. So I will be back doing Destination Decluttered TikToks and YouTube Lives literally Tuesday. Oh, that's a good, you know what? This is really cool. I'm glad I looked at this. Yes, I was a smart cookie. Yes, just ride the wave, Becky. As we like to say when we go on trips with bands, just get on the boat. Get on the boat. Somebody else is taking care of all the logistics and we just show up. Here's a neat thing though. I know that I'm going to be tired when I get home. So the schedule, as I look at it now on the sheet, I will not be doing my typical 7 a.m. TikTok live on Tuesday, May 27th. It's going to be later that time. There we go. Hey, oh, your area of birth in Mayo. I love it. The Wild Atlantic Way. Very cool. Very cool. From what I know my people are from outside of Cork, kind of near Waterford. And my mom's family, I believe, is from Mayo, but there's very little history that has survived. Anywho, enough about me and my travels. Thank you for asking. I'm happy to share. However, let's use our time together for you. That's really why I'm here. I could talk about myself all the time, but I get bored with myself. I hang out with myself all the time. Okay? I love it. I was born in Massachusetts, so my parents were too. And my grandparents were born in the U.S. So it's really my great-grandparents' generation. So we've got a couple of people saying, okay, Ellen's going to declutter the bedroom this morning, then out to lunch with my sister-in-law, the queen of organizing. Ooh, the queen of organizing. What a crown. I bet she knows about putting like items together and how to make things maybe look good. I'm the queen of decluttering, maybe. Actually, it's cute. I will share. One of our bandmates or musician friends calls me the declutter queen, and I think that's kind of cool because he's a cutie. So Cat Mama is debating, should I work inside or should I work outside while it's cool? Now, you can do both. You could do both. Yeah, I went outside and took a walk because I know that the rain is going to start sooner. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. We saw My Fair Lady on the big screen on Sunday. It was kind of fun. So, here we are, and in case we haven't met yet, I will say this a couple of times probably throughout the next hour, because I will be here for the next hour, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. What does that mean? Is I basically help you declutter your life. And Judy says, you are the declutter queen. I agree with him. All right, I'll let him know. What do? I am here for you. What I know is I was cluttered. I have still, right now, temporarily, I'm cluttered all over the place. The house is in an upheaval because of the basement, but it's getting better. But I grew up that way. We talked about generations back and who came over from Ireland. None of my people came from a lot of money. I'll share with you. I don't mind saying that. So they had certain ways they felt about what you bought and what you held on to, and what you didn't let go of. So I come from generations of thrifters and collectors and holder honors and that type of thing. Now, sometimes that can be a good thing. If you hang on to that food and you need it, you're all set. What clutter tends to be, though, as a reminder, the stuff that you aren't using, the stuff that you haven't used in quite a while, and the stuff that's just kind of taking up space when you'd rather have the space for either spaciousness or maybe something else. So think about that. And this is how I do it. This is why I've coined the phrase decluttering life coach. Because decluttering, you can make anything organized, color coordinated, top to bottom, all sorts of things. But decluttering is a different skill set. And decluttering is a life skill. I truly believe it is, because much like Cat Mama was saying, I'm debating whether I should go do stuff outside or inside. Decluttering is really the art of decision making, because it's not a science, it's not exact, and it's not replicable with everything. There are guidelines, but your decision making will be different depending upon what the item is. Now, this is a skill set that will also help you in other areas of your life. But I like to start small. I like to start in a place where you're familiar, and I like to start with stuff that's probably bugging you anyway, which is your clutter. So clutter tends to be, now it's funny, I could look it up in the dictionary, your Funkin' Wagnalls, as my mother would say. But what I think clutter is, as I said, it's the stuff that's in your house that you're struggling with, that you're saying you're conflicted. And yesterday I was talking about the tension created by that kind of tug of war. I want to keep it, but I kind of don't. I kind of want to keep it, but I kind of don't. I kind of want to get rid of it, but I don't know what to do with it, so I'm hanging on to it. Notice I pulled this out of one of my hoodies. It's a piece of string. It's like a tug of war between two things. If there is no tug of war, if you like something and keep it, no big deal. If you don't like it and you want to give it away, no big deal. Clutter, the reason we're hanging out is because of the tension. And it happens in many categories of clutter. Okay, Anne with no E at the end. That's my middle name. I love that. Dinerman. I also know a guy whose last name was Dinerman. Okay. I love it. And so Anne is saying, I have a problem with mail. Okay, I love that. We've picked a category. Let's talk about it. This is the great thing about these lives, is that whatever is bugging you, we can help you with it. So what is your problem with the mail? What is your problem with the mail? Now, I used to not use the word problem until I realized that, like math, if you call it a problem, we can search for a solution. Or if you don't want to be a mathematician, maybe you want to be like, what's his name, Vanilla Ice. If you got a problem, I'll solve it. Right? Now, T-Site is saying, hey, Beth, just got it down to a storage unit in case the world collapses and RVing for a few. Awesome. And says, I just spent 2 months incinerating the mail. Now, Nurse Ellen is saying, I saved too much mail also. So here's what I want to offer to you. And this is I love thinking about these things. I want you to think of mail, and we're going to pretty much be talking about paper mail, not email. Paper mail. Anything that you save that's on paper, and I'm looking for like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, but you know what they look like. You save paper as proof. Think of paper as proof of something. So ask yourself, what are you trying to prove? What is the proof? So that's just something to kind of swirl around in your coffee and in your head to think about. Think about it. A birth certificate, a death certificate, proving your birth, proving your death, proving your marriage, proving your divorce, proving that you, made some charges on your credit card, proving that you paid the credit card, proving your citizenship, proving that you remembered somebody's birthday, proving that you have made some notes about a trip you want to take, proving that you've got some notes about, proving you've got some ideas about something. Too many saved emails as well, I get that. But you know what? Once you learn how to declutter your paper mail, you can use that same approach with your email. Okay. Now, T-Site learned a process and followed a process that worked for them, saying, I need to simply open it as it arrives and deal with it and be done with it. Now, I love that because here's something I want you to think of. Okay? I want you to think of this. First of all, I got to sidetrack, so I'm trying to get myself back on track. Be done with it. Is think about it. One of the reasons you probably have an accumulation of mail is because it came in and you didn't do something with it and you allowed it to pile up. So there was a gap of time between when it came in your mailbox and when you did something about it. Notice that T-Site realized it was helpful to shorten up that amount of time between when it arrives and when you deal with it. So notice that is an approach that works. Now, Anne is asking, what's the best way to get rid of it? Now, I try to not talk about kind of superlatives, the best, perfect, never, always. A good way to get rid of it? Okay. First of all, don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. If you don't have a shredder or a place to burn it, I want you to think of this. What category of mail do you actually even need to shred or burn? I will offer this. I saw it on the YouTube. This is where I would recommend kind of, we talk about going to your Funkin' Wagnalls as we set up the thread, going to the Google. Best way to get rid of paperwork. That is the physical act of doing it. But I show up in your life before then to ask you, what are you keeping and what are you throwing away? Are you making those good decisions? Does this need to be shredded? If it does need to be shredded, and I don't have a shredder, I did hear this. Make the paper wet. Put it in your kitchen sink full of wet water. Put all your paper in there and kind of crumple it up. Okay? I love this. Judy says, my mail used to pile up. I moved the shredder by the door and shredded the junk mail as soon as I walked in the door, and this has helped. I will offer to you right now, I'm pretty good with my mail. First of all, I don't have a lot that comes in. I deal with it as it comes in. I have a expandable file, like one of those accordion files, playing the accordion files that things have labels, utilities, mortgage, credit card statements, and I just file that stuff after I've done the thing. Freckly Face Design says, I take mine and pay for it to be shredded. Yeah, I'm probably going to drop my phone, but if you look over here, see, I don't gatekeep here because there's crap in the side of my house here because we have the basement is completely empty and it's being worked on. There is a bag right there, a Macy's bag. I don't know if you can read it from there, but it literally says on it, shred, and then it says, I can't read it, I got my computer glasses on, May 4th, 2025. So I don't have a shredder. I don't like shredding. I don't like shredders. I don't like the sound. I don't like the mess it makes. So I put the stuff that I'm going to shred into a bag. And then when there's a free shredding event or I decide to drop it off at Staples, that's how I do it. Now, notice that what we have done is we have tightened up a number of these ideas that people have offered, have made things be closer, okay? Made things be closer. The shredder or the recycle bin or whatever closer to the mailbox. The amount of time, the time in which you deal with the mail is closer to when it arrives. So shortening up the distance and shortening up the time between when your mail comes in and doing something about it. Now, what I want to offer to you too is this idea. We just talked about how to get rid of it, but also really kind of taking a look at what you're saving and why you're saving it. Oh, this is the other thing. So the other thing, it just the original thought popped in my head, which was this. This is all good. This is us setting up a better process, right? But you may right now have piles of mail that have been stacked up because of your old process, your old habits. So in order to deal with those, what I would do is categorize it. What I would do is categorize it. Categories, name of, stuff that comes in my mailbox. Boscov's catalogs, credit card statements, mystery things that I open up. So I would, if you have mail that is accumulated, just go through it and sort it a very high level. Bills to be paid, junk mail. Junk mail does not need to be shredded. You can put that right in the recycle bin. And when you take the one big pile and you chunk it down into smaller piles, then they're easier to deal with. And kind of going back to, there we go. I love it. Penny Look Myers, nice to see you. Crap, I am distracting myself all over the place. It's fine. I can get back on track again. Mail. It'll come to me if it's important. I'm not going to worry about it. This is it maybe. Mail as proof. If you look at the mail that's coming in and look at your overall process. Here's the thing. Hi, Erin. Nice to see you. Raising my mug. Here's something I was thinking about. Is one of the roles that I have kind of in your life is you have kind of informally invited me into your life as, and Erin would appreciate this because she works in the corporate world, as a consultant. As a consultant to observe your processes, the way your business runs, the way you run your life like a business, and notice where things could be changed so you get more of the result you want. And what I have noticed is that many of us of an age grew up in the solely paper era. Only paper. There was no such thing as a computer. Or if it did, it took up, a room, and it was like at IBM. So many of us have our established habits of what you do when you pay the bills and things come in the mail. They were established probably back in the 70s and 80s or 60s or even who knows when. Now things are different. Now you can choose to do the same thing, or because of the flexibility and the change that computers and online resources have brought us, you can choose to do something different. But the other thing I want to just think of, and this is kind of a higher level concept, but think about this. Anything you get in the mail is already old by the time it gets to you. So I am thinking primarily of statements. Statements. Bank statements. Bank statements, you get it in the mail mid-May, and it says, hey, this is how much money you had in your account in April. But it's already mid-May, so that number is different. Okay? Now a bank statement is one thing. A credit card statement shows what you used your credit card for up to a certain time, and then it stops. But you're still using your credit card. So just notice that when you keep those things, get curious why you are saving it. Is it because of a habit? Also, honestly, think about the last time you ever looked back on some of that paperwork that you got in the mail. I will not even confess, I will share with you, because it's not a confession, and I'm looking around for it. Oh, it's in the other room. My accordion file thing with a little handle, I know legitimately that I put things in that accordion file that I never look at again. I know that. But it gives me peace of mind to have it there in case I do. Have I ever needed it? No. Is that info probably online? Yeah. But I have the habit, and it only takes up literally like a 4-inch section, a 4-inch, accordion file for my paperwork for the entire year. So I do not sweat it. Could I be more efficient? Yeah. But my habits are fine. So I ask you, if your habits are working out for you, that's great. Now, T-Site is bringing up some good things. Time sensitive. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, so, and Anne is noticing all good points. I think mine is a habit. So much of what we do, you guys, and I say this as like a really cool thing, is habit. Because you can change a habit. You learned to do these things, you can unlearn them and do something else. I'm moving and find bags of old mail. So notice you've had this habit for a while. My parents, I'll grow up. Here's my story. For the past 4 or 5 years, I've been helping my mother, who's in her 80s. I have been not helping her. I've been basically decluttering her house with her permission. And both of my parents didn't know how to deal with clutter, and so they would pitch and ditch it. I was up in the attic this time last year and literally finding bags of old mail that they had maybe opened and looked at and then put back in the envelope, but then people were coming over. They shoved it back there. I'm talking mail from the 1973, So Judy, good question. Judy is asking, what do you do with it after the year? Here's what I do with it. I have actually, because I bought one for my husband when we first got married, this Expando file situation that I have that had all the labels already in it, worked for me. And my husband was a cluttered, distracted mess when I met him. So I thought, this works for me, this might work for you. Well, it didn't. So I have 2 of those Expando files. So what do? I take the one for this year and I put it on a shelf down the basement. And then I have the other one from the year before that I put down there. And then when that stuff is now basically 2 years old, I pull all that paper out. And you know what? I'll probably throw it in a bag to shred because I don't feel like doing piecemeal. So I'll pull each category out. I'll have a stack of paper about that big. I throw it in a bag and I'll get it shredded someday. Then I have an empty one to start for the new year. Then I fill it up this year. When I go to do the switcheroo, everything's about 2 years old. That's what works well for me. One of the things I do, and I've gotten better at since I've been coaching you guys, is I used to put, And sometimes I still do. I think we go through it to say, is there anything in here that we need to use as a deduction on our taxes because both of us work from home? Those things I will pull out and put in my tax envelope. I have gotten better at doing things immediately in my tax envelope, which is just an envelope with paperwork in it for my taxes. I've gotten better at doing that throughout the year, but I'll do a double check, and then I'll see what I need, and it's pretty simple. Now, notice some people have habits. Yes, German Maid is the attic adventures. Yeah, you know what the crazy thing is? Last time I was up at home, I want to say it was March, maybe, whenever. It was not May. It was, the attic is empty now. That attic has not been empty since 1969. That attic, when I went up there to do it, literally had boxes of papers that my dad, and not sentimental papers, that my dad used when he was in college, and he graduated college in 1958. Now, one of the things that decluttering and helping my mother with that attic gave peace of mind for me and for her, because my mother lives alone with 2 cats that I'm afraid are going to get under her feet and she's going to fall down the stairs. But I was concerned that she may think something's up in the attic and go up to get her and fall, and the fall and I can't get up, So it gives me peace of mind to know there's nothing that my mother would need to go up in the attic for. And it gives me peace of mind doubly because when she dies, I was going to have to go through that anyway because we're going to sell the house. So why not do it now and have it be done with? So every time I look at it, I say that's one less thing I'll have to deal with when eventually she passes. All right, Anne, I hope this was helpful. Okay, so there was something else. Time sensitive. The sooner, I will tell you this, the sooner you deal with your stuff, the less you have to, the less worry you have to do, the less you have to keep it in your mind. I use the mail coming in as a trigger, the visual, the paper mail. I'm not going to show you the bill, but there was a credit card statement in here. I use that as a visual reminder to pay the bill and then file it and then write on it. So I get that stuff done sooner rather than later. And it feels good. It's better than, I'll deal with it later. Now, the great thing about being able to, because I pay my bills online, even though I get my credit card statements in the mail. Even if you go online to pay, it doesn't mean you need to give them your money right then. I schedule my payments for the due date. So they don't get my money in advance. And I know that the payment's going to go through. Now, notice again, we talk about habits. We learn from the people who raised us. And our people who raised us did the best they could with the skills they had. But maybe they were raised by people who didn't have great skills. I can see when I go back just a couple of generations how everybody that I know of in my family has saved stuff. So it's not surprising to me that I learned to save stuff, and I saved stuff. Grape Dew is saying my aunt used to mail us boxes of her clutter because she couldn't deal with it. Now, here, let me help you with this. Blue Echo, my taxes are a mess. I used to cry about my taxes. I used to get a pit in my stomach. I used to want to throw up because of my taxes. Now, oh my God, it's such not a big deal. So I want to help you with that. Okay? Taxes are as simple as this. 2 piles of paper. Two piles of paper. Here is proof. Remember we said earlier, paper is proof. Tax paperwork is proof of 2 things. Paper proof of money I made, and then the other pile is paper proof of money I spent on things that I can deduct from my taxes. Other than that, it's pretty simple. I don't want you to overcomplicate things that you don't have to overcomplicate it. That gets your brain swirling and, oh my God, this is things. But people will benefit from making things seem more difficult because then you pay them to do it for you. Now, I can collect up my paperwork and it's no big deal. Do I do my taxes myself? No, I pay somebody else to do that because I want to spend my time doing something else. But if your taxes are a mess right now, I can help you with that so next year they aren't as bad. All right? So hang out with me. Now, I am here for the next half hour. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. And I'm doing this TikTok live until 9 a.m. Eastern on today. Hold on, I'm not going to look at the calendar. Wednesday, May 21st. It's 8:30 right now, Eastern time. Your mileage may vary depending upon what time zone you're in. But after today, too, after this one, first of all, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to change the channel. I'll be doing this exact same thing, but I also have a lovely YouTube channel. Now, I say this, my awesome YouTube channel, because that's the resources. That's the Funkin' Wagnalls. That's where you can go and find information about decluttering when I'm not doing a live. Now, is it highly organized? No, but it's pretty much it's every single one of these lives that I've done for almost 2.5 years is recorded and uploaded there. So there are over 700 videos there. You could listen to them like a podcast. Listen to the things that jam other people up and listen to how we resolve it. Learn things, and you're going to notice that I repeat the same things a lot because it is not that difficult. It is not difficult. You just don't learn it. Anything you don't know how to do feels difficult because you don't know it. But once you learn it, you're like, oh, I get it. That's simple. Okay. So yeah. So notice this. Now I'm going to scroll up here. So, oh yeah. So get on my mailing list. Excuse me. Let me just do the whole like bottom of the hour type of thing. Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach, here on TikTok, Destination Decluttered. Over on YouTube, Destination Decluttered. On the interwebs, on the internet, destinationdecluttered.com, one word, .com, Destination Decluttered. Destinationdecluttered.com is where you sign up for my mailing list at a little form on the bottom of the homepage. When you sign up for the mailing list, you get what I call the TV guide to know when I show up doing these lives. And I've got them scheduled until Saturday, May 31st. Actually, Saturday, May 31st is a decluttering party. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, and then into, holy mother of God, it's going to be June. So I do these almost every day. All right? Beth, destinationdecluttered.com. All right? Now, here we go. All right, T-Site, notice what you're doing. If you're totally worried, all right? Yeah, and notice somebody never taught me money. It just got paid. So you don't know how to do it. So let me help you with that. All right, I'm 4 years behind. You know what I hear, Blue Echo? I hear 4 piles of paperwork. I've got 2024 paperwork, 2023 paperwork, 2022 paperwork, 2021 paperwork. So start there. One of the main things I like to share with you that's wicked simple is this concept of chunking it down. All of your paperwork together is a hot mess. It's overwhelming. When you're overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. So we calm down your nervous system by chunking it down, making the smaller piles. Okay? And you can do this. Now, Kathy is asking, how long should you keep your old tax papers? I've heard 7 years. I keep mine 7 or 8 or 10. Again, notice that going back to that original concept of paper as proof. We keep our tax paperwork for 7 years to prove what we sent to the IRS. The receipts of how much we made and how much we spent. So the only time you will ever really need that paperwork is if the IRS decides to come knocking on your door and audit you. So save it for 7 years. Other than that, I believe 7 years, it's like, ha, you missed your window of opportunity. Now I'm going to shred this stuff. Okay. Yeah, Blue Echo, all of my lives are recorded on YouTube. Yeah, go over there. Literally, I will look at it right now. Boom. YouTube.com/@DestinationDecluttered. There are 709 videos on my list, on my Destination Decluttered YouTube list. And they're all divided up, chunked down by month of lives. Every live is recorded with the date. This live right now on TikTok is going to be downloaded and uploaded to the May 2025 YouTube TikTok live recordings. There are 25 videos, hour-long videos on May alone. Okay? Now, here's the great thing. So I think my problem is not knowing what I can and can't claim. Now, do you do your taxes yourself or does somebody help you? Okay. The other thing is pretty much the stuff you can claim typically, and I am not a tax, let me disclaim all over the place. I am not a tax preparer or expert. From my experience, you can claim things that are legitimate business expenses if you run a business. But if you don't know what I can claim, you can find out. What you don't know, you can find out. And our modern version of the Funkin' Wagnalls is going to be the internet. Don't just go with the top thing, though. Consider the different sources and make sure it's all the way through. So if you say, hey, I'm saving this. I don't know if I can claim this as a business expense or not. Google, can I claim that lunch that I took my husband out to for a business expense on my taxes? And see what comes up. Find out what you don't know. There are resources out there. There are help. Okay. Blue Echo, there are people all over the place that will help you with your taxes. Ask for recommendations from people you trust. That's where I always start. I don't ask the internet. I don't ask, whatever. I ask the people I know. And because I am an independent contractor and so is my husband, we didn't start with people who work regular 9-to-5 jobs. We asked our creative types, who helps you with your taxes? And we got recommendations. Again, if you don't have somebody, there are people. It's not like that one person who ghosted you means there's no more tax preparers. Here's a story. I went to the dentist yesterday. It's the first time I went to that dentist because the dentist we went to before stopped taking our insurance. So we had to do some research to find somebody. Okay, do not give up. I love that you haven't give up, but 3 people, okay, so that's 4 tax preparers. They've stopped responding. Again, I go back to asking people, and especially, here's the thing too, I know it's a busy season for tax people at the beginning of the year. Now they may be maybe in June, and depending on how old you are, there could be folks to help you for free. A senior living place near me does it, says Laura Gibbon Voorhees. Yeah. There is an answer. Okay, they were all referrals. It didn't work out. This is where we have to be tenacious. Yes, and as German Maid says, as I was saying, now the tax season is over, they may have more time. But here's where I want to bring a bigger lesson to all of us. Just because you hear no or somebody ghosts you doesn't mean give up. You can double down. You get tenacious. If you don't want to be, if you want to be caught up on your taxes, continue calling up to see if they're taking new people. Continue asking more people. Broaden the search of people. The wonderful thing is, again, back in the day, you may have had to print out your taxes and go to somebody's office and they looked through the paper. That's how the woman that was doing ours for the last number of years were. She is now retiring and transferring her business onto somebody who is like literally probably 20 or 30 or 40 years younger than me. He's all digital. I've never met him in life. We did a Zoom call. He has a portal. We uploaded PDFs. So you don't necessarily need to have somebody geographically near you. Maybe there's somebody in your state. Now, I know the taxes vary from state to state, so it is more helpful to restrict your search to somebody in your state. But just because you got a couple of no's, just because you ran into a couple of dead ends does not mean, and this is where I like to talk about things in the what would I do if I was on a road trip? If you really want to be caught up on your taxes and get the peace of mind to have it just done as opposed to on your brain every day, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? Do not give up the journey just because you took a few wrong turns. Just because you had a few crappy dates doesn't mean you stop going out there looking for somebody to get along with. So I say this to everybody. Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes you're in flow, as they like to say, and not flow from Alice, okay? But you're in the zone, you're in flow. The universe is on your side. Things feel easy. Yesterday, I took a route from where was I? I was at one grocery store, I had to go to the other, and I had to go take like a right and then this sharp left and this sharp right. And as I'm looking for it, I'm like, oh, this could be a pain in the ass. And literally, it was like ballet, the way that the traffic moved. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you, universe. Okay? And so sometimes things are easy. Sometimes they're not as easy. But just because they're not as easy means you don't give up. And here you go. Blue Echo, I know you just met me, but I do one-on-one coaching, and one of my coaching clients heard me say that I wished I got one of those Mr. Microphones from back in the 80s. hey, I'll be back to pick you up later. So she sent me this microphone, and my husband, who's a musician, got a windscreen for it. So sometimes I break out into song. I am not a good singer. It doesn't stop me from singing, though. Early to rise and early to bed, and in between I cooked and cleaned and went out of my head. Going through life with blinders on, it's tough to see. I've gotta get up from under and look for me. There's a new girl in town and she's looking good. There's a fresh, freckled face in the neighborhood. There's a new girl in town. I just realized I could sing the whole song. I watched a lot of TV in the 70s. I just realized that it's 8:41 in the morning and my husband is still asleep in the next room, so I will not sing the whole song. But those, yeah, there's a new girl in town. Yeah, so that's what clutters up my brain. But I like to share it with you, okay? Because it's fun. Because many of us are Gen Xers. Many of us grew up watching a wicked lot of TV, okay? And these are the things that I decide to keep. I decide to keep the theme from Alice. I decide to keep many 70s theme songs in my head and out and share it with you all. So I just want to share with you, this is how I coach. I break out into song. Why the hell not? It's fun. Why not make boring stuff like taxes and paperwork and dishes and decluttering isn't necessarily exciting? Oh, that reminds me. That one persona, crap, I don't think she's on here, but here's the thing. And then this is a neat thing. I've got some fun stuff to share with you too. Because two people I want to recommend to you on TikTok. Now, let me see how I did it yesterday. Because yesterday's TikTok Live and YouTube Live, ADHD people, I also am very conversant in that world. I probably have it myself here. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going. And that one persona was saying, how can I get motivated to do things that bore me? Okay? And what I said was, there are some boring things in life. We've been talking about them right now. Paperwork, taxes. And I recommend taking the drama out of them and getting them done sooner rather than later. That's my recommendation. Readjust, recalibrate your nervous system about how you feel about it, and then just do it, and do it a little bit at a time. This year was the easiest year in my entire life that I've paid taxes because I hunked it down. There we go. You're ADHD, I'm ADHD. Nice to meet you. Okay? Chunking it down is going to be your saving grace. I know from ADHD, we've got it in my family, and I work with clients who have it, that there tends to be an all or nothing mentality of no, 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 hell yes, no, 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 no. What I do is help you practice the habit of a little bit at a time. Okay? No, I love it. Cynthia says, I follow along with you easily. Oh, hey, squirrel, you are so easy for me to listen to. Thank you. Yeah. So what I offer to you is, this is as simple as this. I like to use this term called all the downs, because I use the word down a lot. Yeah. So I want you to think of, first of all, calming down your nervous system is always going to be the first one. I'm going to back up. It's going to be taking care of your physical body. So doing a scan from the top down to the bottom, from your head down to your toes. How are you feeling physically? Have you had some water today? Here, I've got my whole drink of water, and I know I haven't had enough because I had no sips done, but then I took some sips. Everybody, take a sip of water. We've made this fun in the past where there's a word that I will use, maybe like down, and it's almost like doing shots. Every time I say a word that is your word you picked, you drink a sip of water, getting yourself hydrated. Physical health, number one. Mental health, kind of what I like to call energetic health. Same thing, because your nervous system can be riled up, so we want to calm it down. Calming down, quieting down, turning down the saturation, turning down the drama. You can tell I'm from an age because I'm turning something down like this versus just hitting a button. Chunking down is going to be a big thing. Okay? So, notice that there are ways you have been doing things. in the past up to till right now, you've thought that that's the way to do things, and how you've done things has given you the results you have. I am showing up in your life because the universe sent me to you to say there's another way. And even if you say, well, I'm ADHD in this, I got you. Okay? Judy, will you wear a mask on the plane for all the germs moving around the plane? I don't know. I don't know. I have one. I might. I might not. I haven't decided. And frankly, I'll be completely honest with you. Humans are pack animals. I don't know if I want to stick out. Maybe I just want to fit in. We'll see. You do what feels right to you, and I support it. I'm going to figure out what feels right to me and support it. Okay? But what I want to offer to you is how we change things is chunking it down and also rewriting the stories in our head. Changing the words in your head so you feel different. As people are saying, have fun with stuff. If it's mundane, that's fine. Don't make it any more dramatic. I hate doing my taxes. I hate doing the laundry. It doesn't deserve that. It doesn't even deserve, what is that? There's an old-timey song that says, you aren't worth the salt in my tears. Like, these things aren't even worth the hate. Hate takes energy. Hate can use the energy that you could use for love instead. So how about just making your taxes and the boring things just kind of neutral and have as much fun in the process as you can? German Maid listens to audiobooks, so does Cynthia. Add some fun to the boring. Play music while you wash the dishes. Boogie while you wash a window. Yeah. You're living in a disco. Forget about the rat race. Selling like a hotcakes. I don't rap very well. I'm totally whiting when that comes to it. Yeah. Yeah, huh? Yeah, and Adrian says, just be cognizant of current outbreak numbers. Do what you want, but be worth being informed. I give it. I get you. So what I want to offer to you is, thank you for that, and I will do that, is what I want to say is you can change your habits. You may not change, you may need tools to help you do that. I show you the tools that I have. I've got a notebook. I've got a habit tracker. I've got another book. And I've got my calendar. Those are the tools that I use to help me get shit done. And not just the stuff I have to do, but man, have I gotten so good in making stuff happen that I want to happen. And I'm using the exact same process. Okay, I'm using the exact same process, and I show up to share these with you. I do. I give and I give and I give. But I do, seriously, because you know what? I wish when I was growing up that I had somebody like me in my life that saw where I was jammed up and spent the time listening to me and noticing, a consultant, somebody noticing the habits I had that I was learning, that it's like, oh, that's not going to pan out in the future. How about I show you a different way of doing things? If you're scared and overwhelmed, totally me, from age whatever to age 30-something probably, and 50-something. Okay, if you're scared and overwhelmed, let's figure out why. Oh, here's a story. No lie. Yesterday, I'm in the dentist seat. Now, I did luck out in the fact that genetics. Sometimes people let that my teeth are fairly healthy. So I luck out with that. My mother, not so much. So here's an interesting thing to me. I was afraid of the dentist as a child before I ever went to the dentist. I was phobic. I was panicky. And you know why? Because I heard words. I heard stories of how horrible the dentist was. And when I heard those words, I absorbed them and I thought they were true. That it's going to be painful. And it made me fearful. So I remember going to the dentist for the first time and screaming in the chair because I thought it was going to hurt. And the only reason I thought that is because they didn't tell me, hey, Beth, when you go to the dentist, it's going to hurt. No, but I heard it. I picked it up. Little pitchers have big ears. So the lessons we learn and the things we absorb are not all directly taught to us. You can overhear something. You can pick something up. Somebody can live in a way that shows you this is how to respond to things. So that's how we are. We are a product of our environment. you know? And sometimes that can affect how we do our lives. Yeah, now German Maid says, I'm terrified of the dentist after a horrible experience. So notice, when you are fearful of something, you may not show up for it again. Yeah, and I love that you've learned that local anesthesia doesn't work on me and they never believe me. So notice what it is to find the right people to work with. People who believe you. And Camp Mama says the exact same thing. You need a new dentist. But notice where we came from. But right now, I am telling you, from experience of myself, my one-on-one clients, even people I've never met before. Cynthia says, I love my new habits. That you can change, even no matter how old you are and how many years you've done those habits, you can slow down and shift gears and begin to change them. Now, if you've done something for 50 years, you have like a well-worn path in your brain of this is how we do it. This is how we do it. But I want to offer that here, we do it a different way. This is how we do it. We calm down, we chunk down, we write down. We get curious, we don't get judgy. And yes, and you can change it. And there's nothing more powerful than realizing you're not just doing it for yourself, but you're breaking a family cycle. You know? Na, 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 na. Exactly. This is how we do it. This is how we do it here. This is my dance party. And I want to share with you that you can do it. Making sure you're feeling okay physically, calming down your nervous system, chunking down whatever it is, writing down all these thoughts that are probably swirling around in your head, writing them down. Yeah, and this is the fun thing. Seriously, this is how I live my life. So I love it when Adrienne says, I love every time you break out into song. Your lives are always fun and encouraging. You know why? Because not being unfun, boring, being unfun and discouraging is fucking boring. And it doesn't help me. When I am having fun and I have courage, there's ain't no stopping me now. I'm on the move. Right? Yeah. And so notice the difference. There is a line. There is that line of symmetry. There is that median in the human body. So use it. On the one hand, you can be living in fear. Fear of change, fear. And under the umbrella of fear is judgment, shame, fear, hate, boring, whatever, like unfun. On the other hand, you've got love. Now, I'm not a hippie, but I play one on TV. But I like to say that love, is all you need. You might need some money too. But when you have love, you've got fun, you've got curiosity, you're breaking out into song, you have connection. Anything that's the opposite. Here, I actually have a word, things I've written down. Love, curiosity, beneficial, trusting, understanding, grateful, feeling better, easy, simple, fun, manageable. Sorry, I think somebody was just knocking on my front door. Very weird. Assured, composed, I almost said composted. Confident, solace, and joy. Notice, what side do you want to choose to hang out with? And I stayed in under the umbrella of fear for years. My curiosity that I mentioned, I know, delivery could be. I'm going to go look out the window, okay? My curiosity. I'll be right back. Here, look at my background. Thank you for allowing me to do that. No one comes unannounced anymore. It was all good. Yes, talks amongst yourself. Thank you. You would have called 911 if I would have screamed. No, it was all good. It was all good. Yeah, is that a rug? The colors are so cute. Yeah, this is my rug. I like good colors. Yes, no, that was actually really good. You know what it was? It was not that it matters to you, but we are getting the basement done, and one of the guys came to pick up somebody's wheelbarrow, and there's a bunch of trash on the side of the garage, and he thought the stuff was still down the basement, but it's on the side of the garage. And listen to me, garage. I totally am from Boston. Wicked funny. All right, so having fun and getting it done. That's what Destination Decluttered is all about. We got like 5 minutes left here on TikTok. I'm going to be doing the same thing on YouTube. The basement is not done yet, but we are closer than ever before. Now, one of the reasons the basement hasn't been done in the time that we would prefer it to be done is because we also are unavailable, and we do not want people in the house working on it when we're not here. So we're leaving today, but they're going to finish it next week. And then a lot of this clutter that is temporarily up here will be more organizedly put back, but closer than we ever have been. And I love it. So here we are. Right now, actually, let me just do this. So Penny's got to go. I totally get it. I will not be doing another live this week until next week, which will be Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday, May 27th is the next time I'll be doing a TikTok live. But I've got an hour more of whatever we're doing here and an hour more of me, And what I want to offer to you is if you want to tune in, maybe learn a new skill, learn how to watch a live. Now, the fun thing is, I will share with you, is that if you're nosy or curious about what the background looks like here, when I do things on YouTube, it's a horizontal frame, so you get to see more of my background. I'm sitting right here. I literally am going to change the stations, but I'm here for you. Doing the lives, doing the recordings, doing the one-on-one coaching, of which I am going to be opening up my calendar again when I return from the trip, because I know a lot of people could benefit from during the summer. When your schedule has changed, you sometimes feel like you have more time to declutter, that there are, the weather may be nicer for you to do that depending upon where you live. So I'll be opening up my coaching calendar for that. I do a 10-session package for paid coaching, and you start with a consultation, a free consultation to just meet to see, if it will work out for us. That will start up again basically next week and run into the summer. In the meantime, though, getting onto the mailing list is destinationdecluttered.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, put in your email address, promise you're not a robot, boom, you're done. Okay, now, there we go, Blue Echo. Yeah, you can follow me here on TikTok if you want. And I think the best thing, honest to God, if it was me, I'd be like, oh, I like this. I would like to show up again, as opposed to, don't get me wrong. I like unexpected delights like nobody's business. But when I like somebody, I want to know when they're showing up again. And you can follow me here. But the best thing, seriously, is what I call the TV guide page of my website. And the only way you can even see it is to be on the mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com. I don't send out a lot of emails. I am not pushy like that. I send out information where I have something good to share, okay? So I'm going to shift gears here. Actually, I can probably do it while we're here, and you can do this along with me. So I'm going to Destination Decluttered on YouTube, and today is 5/21/2025, and it will be the 9 a.m. YouTube Live. All right? And it is going to be on the May recordings, and it is not made for kids, but trust me, decluttering is a life skill. Everybody of every age should know how to declutter. All right, the only reason I'm doing this right now with you guys on here is last week we had some issues with YouTube and it was an error, but it looks like it's good now. So I'm going to sign off. And I'm going to hop over to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Why don't you join me there? All right. This has been wicked fun. I will see you next week. If you want to just stay here on TikTok, you do you. I won't be here until next Tuesday. But in the meantime, have an awesome weekend and do the best you can with the weather you have, okay?